comedy Four Weddings and a Funeral. But Simon Callow is not a man of one part, he's a man of many parts. Among his many roles, he's portrayed Oscar Wilde, Charles Dickens, and so on. Last year, Simon brought Shakespeare to life in his one-man show, The Man from Stratford. This year, he's one of the playwright's characters in Peter Hall's production of The Twelfth Night. Simon Callow's here right now. And had you always wanted to play Sir Toby Belch, which you're doing in Twelfth Night, or have you, in fact, played it before?
No, I've not played it before, and I'd never had the slightest desire to play it. And everybody who has played it before told me, don't touch it. Yeah. It's a poisoned chalice, they said. Right. Because you just basically are part of a double act with Andrew Aguecheek in the first half, and in the second half, you just have to motor the play, make the plot work all the time. So, yeah. But nonetheless, I thought, still, it's a great play, and it's a part that everybody has an image of, Sir Toby Belch. It's so wonderfully set up.
It's a clear... Even Falstaff, in another case, has a feeling that you feel he's large and just from the name.
Exactly, and belongs to our imagination. Yes. He's on our landscape. But in fact, of course, I underestimated the playwright completely. It's a fantastic part. It's been immensely thrilling to grapple with him. He's basically, Shakespeare, so often, as in, for example, King Lear, he anticipated all our understanding of dementia and Alzheimer's. It's uncanny how perfectly well delineated that is in Lear. And in Toby Belch, he's written an alcoholic. And it's absolutely brilliant. Every aspect of alcoholism is there. The inner anger, the sense of impotence and rage, the maudlin sentimentality, the physical recklessness, the intermittent sense of omnipotence that the alcohol gives you, all of that. It's all there as if it was a case study.
Oh, that makes it sound even better than one imagined. A very good thing. Tell me, what does that mean is your remaining greatest priority among Shakespeare that you would like to play?
I've played Falstaff twice already, but now I must play him again. I long to absolutely conquer that part because it's the greatest part, I think, that Shakespeare ever wrote. I'd love to have a crack at Shylock and at King Lear, and I'm at the age now to do it, but oddly enough, I've got a very scrappy record as a Shakespearean up till now. I've played Orlando in As You Like It at the National Theatre. I played Titus Andronicus when I was 27, which is not advisable, really, and I played Richard III on the radio, which is a challenge all of its own, because how do you suggest physical deformity on the radio? I'm not sure I completely won that one, but anyway.
But they couldnn t tell, really.
No. But what I have done a great deal of, is Shakespeare's sonnets. And when I was at the National in 1979, when we were doing Amadeus, at the same time as doing Amadeus, I did all of Shakespeare's sonnets, 157 sonnets, on one afternoon, which is, I think, unprecedented, and I hope nobody else ever attempts it again, because it nearly killed me. But it bred in me a lifelong love of these poems, which I think are the core of Shakespeare.
Did you expect Amadeus to be the huge hit it became?
Yeah, absolutely. It was rather like Four Weddings and a Funeral. The moment one read the script, one just knew this has inbuilt success, unless we completely mess it up. And Amadeus, of course, had a number of advantages. It was a play by Peter Shaffer, who had just written Equus and Royal Hunt of the Sun and was one of the most acclaimed dramatists on the face of the earth. It was about Mozart, which is a perennially interesting subject, and Paul Scofield was playing Salieri. So again, as with The Twelfth Night, which I'm doing at the moment, which is sold out immediately, so did Amadeus, almost instantly.
And of course, Four Weddings and a Funeral is another. Well, I suppose that's the thing you're most famous for. It may not be your favourite role, I don't know, is it?
I loved it. I love playing Gareth. I think it was a very remarkable piece of writing. In fact, the whole film is... they're very hard to bring off, these romantic comedies. I think you could compare it in the sense of the chemistry being perfect with Casablanca. It's one of those things which lots of people had written films in the genre of Casablanca, but the many authors of Casablanca just hit the nail on the head with that one. Casting was perfect, everything about it worked. Same thing with Four Weddings and a Funeral. It just, it all clicked in a way that is impossible to predict.
And you were the funeral.
I was the funeral, which was a rather striking and daring
We could therefore say you were in the title role.
I am indeed in the title role.
And Amadeus was a huge hit, and Four Weddings, well, that was a different form of fame, really, wasn't it? I mean, it was so global on film, wasn't
Yes,
it?
absolutely. And remains, because of the world in which we now live, DVD has transformed the way people know films. Because in the old days, if you wanted to see your favourite film, you'd have to wait patiently until it came round again. Then television started reviving films. But with DVD, you can watch your favourite film whenever you want to see it. So I keep running into people who have seen Four Weddings and a Funeral 50 times.
Oh, 50 times. Not
50
just
times.
seen it. As if it's
Just seen it, but also seen it 50 times. And you know, that means to say that they know it a lot better than I do. I've seen it once, you know.
One of the other things for which you're famous was your declaration about homosexuality, of course. Are you looking back, you're proud and glad you did that?
Very, very much so. And of course, Four Weddings and a Funeral was part of all of that.
Yeah.
Because that character broke a whole lot of stereotypes about being gay. And at the time, Four Weddings and a Funeral, remember, was made at the height of the AIDS, kind of the first wave of AIDS.
Horror of it.
A horror of it, and it was a wonderful thing to have a gay character who died of something other than AIDS. Yeah. What he died of was Scottish dancing. Yeah. And I've always thought of the film as a government health warning against the perils of Scottish dancing.
That's right. So you gave up Scottish dancing.
I gave up Scottish dancing as a result of that, yes.
of that particular role. So that in the general field across, do you get the same satisfaction from doing all the various things, the directing, or do they give you a different fulfilment or pleasure?
Yes, they're all very different. I mean, I write a lot. I've
yes,
written
you do.
17 books now, and that, of course, is a solitary pleasure. Yeah. The book is only as good as you can make it. Nobody else has anything to do with it. I mean, it's nice to have the input of an editor, but if you're directing a play, then you're dependent on the whole group of people that you've assembled. So it's critical that you get the right people. Being a director, especially directing a movie, is an area of absolute responsibility, and I've only directed one film, which was The Ballad of the Sad Café, which was distinguished by having Rod Steiger and Vanessa Redgrave in the cast, and it was not altogether a success, and in the end I have to take the responsibility for that. I have to say, well, you know, I was in charge and I didn't quite get it right. Very often in the theatre, when you're acting in a play, things do go wrong and it's not your fault at all.
No. So what is the most essential quality that an actor needs?
Shamelessness, I suppose,
yes,
in a sense, but I mean that in quite a deep sense, that you have to be prepared to show a lot about what goes on inside you, and you have to want to communicate it. You have to need, actually, to communicate it. It's not enough to want to. You've really got to need to share with people what you've understood about the human situation. That's a sort of compelling feeling inside me, as I now, having done just Toby Belch, I really want to tell people what I found out about Toby Belch and what in working on Toby Belch I found out about myself. You know.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations on this latest triumph, and here's to the next time.
Indeed.
Our thanks to Simon Callow, that man of many talents, for joining us, and that's it for this programme, unfortunately.